One thing that we didn't talk about, which uh, chronologically it usually is sort of uh, deprioritized because I think it's like comes at the end of the process, but I think it's it's the most important is thinking just about a retention. And I just strongly recommend that folks have, no matter what your hiring method is, process, if you're relying on word of mouth, I strongly recommend that folks have a playbook and a plan for the first 90 days of a new hire's tenure, from what's going to happen in the first few days all the way to what's going to happen on, day 60 and 90, just to make sure that all that effort that you're putting into getting that new hire, selling them on the role, getting them on board, and then eventually all the effort that you're putting into training them and, putting them on a team, making sure that you're maximizing the odds of them ramping up quickly and of them retaining. You're not going to be able to, retain everybody. There's always going to be folks who, don't stay past the first few days or, past 30 days. But, every time you can like push that, you know, percentage in your favor, it's going to have really solid downstream impact. So it's worth having that standard set of milestones and things you want to make sure that happen. Things like getting feedback about their experience onboarding, checking on their equipment to see like if they have everything they need, if it's properly adjusted. Another big one is asking for referrals. I really recommend that folks ask every new hire for a referral around the 30-day mark. They've stayed long enough that they're probably going to, stick around a decent amount, but they're still a little bit in the honeymoon period, so you have an opportunity to, get a referral. And then also just making sure that, their manager is having an early tenure performance check-in with them, and that they're getting set up with everything they need to be on benefits and have all of that stuff as well. So making sure all that stuff happens can be really impactful. And then the next level of that is adding in the training piece to that. So making sure that if you have any kind of training content, they're getting it at the right time, or you want to make sure that they're getting any kind of just training with their supervisor or anything like that, making sure those reminders are going out. That's also really important.
Awesome. I couldn't agree more with that. We actually were working on this of what does it look like from an employee standpoint on their first day. And I think we've been guilty of this, but it's kind of like, hey, show up at this address at 6 a.m. and talk to Manny. And it's like, well, who's Manny? And like, where's the entrance? And they walk into this like chaos of the morning rollout. And so I think just my recommendation, this is what we did, is I went and just observed a new day for someone and just kind of watched and then asked them how it went. And they were like, it wasn't great. Like I didn't know that I had to pack a lunch and stuff that like is kind of obvious, but if maybe they did something different or they came from manufacturing or somewhere else, it was just a different experience. So I would recommend having a really good first day plan. We've actually had it where the first 4 hours is not in the field. They actually come to the office, meet with the office team, get to know some of us, and then the supervisor will take them out and meet with the crew at break.